Hi YouTube family! Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Melissa back with another video. And if you haven't seen my last two videos, I'll put the link in the description, so go ahead and click that and we'll get started. So with this one, in my last video, I ended with that I got kicked out of my foster home. Now, before they would actually kick me out, before they had to find a new home for me, we did a trial run at a different home. My sister Nicole, we got into this other home together. So we were together in that home. We went to this trial home and I hated it. Like the first day, of course, 9-year-old me at the time, I was 9 at this time, cried. I was very scared. They scared me. Like the mom, I got to know them a little bit more, but the first day, you know, it's a lot to handle. I guess they expected us to just bounce back, like, okay, whatever, new home, you know what I'm saying? But this is only my second one. But I remember being really scared, and in my file, they had put that the whole sexual incident, I guess they kind of called it, where I was accused of making one of my foster siblings, I guess cousin, to kiss the girl, and so they put that in there as I guess like being sexual or something. So I wasn't allowed to hang out with any other kids, which is literally the saddest thing ever when you're a child. I was like a lot of times by myself, and so like it made things really lonely. Or like if I wanted to play with one of the cousins or one of the family members, they would like feel like they would get all like be there like watching like a hawk, and then if we were playing and they didn't realize we were playing, they would like stop it immediately and say like, you know, you guys need to go to separate places. So I remember that, and I remember not understanding that, which I did figure out, of course, as an adult when I figured out why that was the way it was. Like I wasn't gonna hurt her, you know what I'm saying? We just wanted to play. So when I got to this home, like I was scared, you know, like there was just like all these new faces and stuff like that. And I remember, of course, I started crying because, you know, I'm 9, and at this time I'm 9, and I'm just crying because like it was scary. Like one minute I'm in this home and then all this crap is happening, and then next day I'm in another home and it's like, okay, you need to figure this out. This is just a trial run to see how it goes. I spend most of the evening like in tears. I'm scared, you know, and they just sent me to my room, like just go to bed. You need to just go to bed. And I remember the grandma of like the foster mom, I guess, she would have kept walking by the room, and she's like, you need to shut up. And she's like, I don't know why you're crying, you're fine, you need to stop being dramatic. And I remember just like being so like uncomfortable, and I like kind of just went, I was under my blankets trying not to cry like out loud, like I was trying to like be chill about it. And I remember just that feeling. It's just, it's so weird how I remember all these things in so much detail. But I remember it just really hurt, you know, being a 9-year-old girl. But I remember that's like the start, and that was just like the trial run. And I just remember I remember being very uncomfortable at first, like being there for the trial run. So we ended up going to this home permanently. So like for that was gonna be my new home. So me and Nicole, we pack up all the stuff. I got all my clothes in the trash bag, and I remember them making a comment that like my clothes smelled, and it was like all just like, I guess maybe they were damp or something. They were like just stuffed into a black trash bag. Like that's what we had. Like all our belongings went into a trash bag. It really sucked. So I had my trash bag and everything, which is, that's really sad when you think about it. You know, like that's like the most belonging you have is in a trash bag. I remember like I didn't get along that well with like the kids there, but I was a lot younger, so I kind of get why they were not as like involved with me. But that's because, you know, there was one was like 14 and, you know, I was 9, you know, like I get why they weren't like that close with me, but I didn't get why they had to be mean, you know. So I remember one instance I kept getting threatened to and beat with like a textbook. I remember that happening. I remember like trying to like dodge it a lot. I remember I had like tattled on one of my foster siblings. I had told my foster mom at the time that like, you know, so and so had done this or whatever. I was like tattling or whatever, and like she would just like threaten me all the time, you know, like to either beat me up, to hit me with the textbook, to do this, do that. And But I was just, it wasn't like I tattled really. I was just like, oh, I saw so and so with so and so, like just kind of telling me what I was doing. And I guess she was hanging out with somebody she wasn't supposed to, and so she got in trouble. So I wasn't just like we're trying to rat her out. I was saying like what I was doing that day. I remember, this is where it gets kind of like sad, so if I start crying, I'm sorry. But like, I was like the favorite at this point. So when I moved in there for that to be my current home, like I was like the favorite. Like it was like one of my, I guess I would consider her the aunt. We think we called her our aunt. And she loved me. Like I loved her. We got along really well. She'd always pretend like I was like her daughter, and I was like, oh, and I felt so loved, and it was like so much fun, and I felt like that was like the favorite. I'm like, finally, someone who really likes me, and it's like super cool. But I remember it all changing like really, really fast, and this is the story of how things changed. So basically, I was gonna go use the restroom. And so I would just knock on the door, like knock on the door, nope, nobody answered, but the door was closed. So I was like, okay, let me just double check. So I knock on the door, no answer, knock again, no answer. So I go to open the door to go into the bathroom. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm in here, and I'm like, oh crap.
Like there's somebody in this bathroom.
And so I kind of made like this face like, ugh. Well, like, I mean, obviously I'm cringing, like I just walked in on somebody in the bathroom. I didn't see nothing, but like I had walked in on them. So I made that face, I stepped back, and I went to walk out the room. Well, this aunt got like really pissy with me. Like she got mad, and she's just like, why'd you make that face? Why are you even making faces at people? Blah, 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 blah. And then on my way out, she hit me over the back of the head.
She hit me over the back of the head.
And I remember just being like, what the heck, And I remembered that my social worker said, if anybody puts your hands on you, if anybody touches you, blah, 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 like, you need to let us know. And so when we went to our visit or whatever, I told my social worker, I'm like, she hit me over the head. Like, I don't know why. I didn't do nothing. Like, I literally just, like, explaining my situation. And so I guess she probably told them, like, hey, you can't put your hands on her, da 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 da, blah blah blah. So after that, things just started to really suck, and she all of a sudden hated me now. I remember my cousins, I guess I would call them, my cousins, like making like different accusations, like because I told that the aunt had hit me. She's like, what, we're just gonna say that you tried to rape us, and I'm gonna say that you tried to touch us, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say that. And I just remember that feeling, like it was just getting worse and worse, and like the animosity they like felt for me was like, so wow. Getting a little bit emotional. Whew. But the animosity that they felt for me, being like such a little kid, I remember just like feeling like everything was like falling apart, and I did not expect to cry, y'all, but I remember things kind of like starting to fall apart, and I didn't know what to do with it, like I was, I didn't know how to handle all these things and whatever. But so after, they just started like hating me. Like they would joke around, they're gonna accuse me of stuff. They would say that like I was they would just be like, oh, she's peeing the bed, or just like stuff that would bother a 9-year-old, like, oh, she's peeing the bed, or she's doing this, she's doing that. And they would just like constantly torment me in that way, and just to make me feel really bad and upset. And they would laugh like it was fine and stuff like that. So that was going on. So after all that kind of went down, I think they purposely would try to like do stuff. They would like take all the kids bowling, and they would like leave me at home, and they're like, you're not going. And I'd be like, why can't I go? And they're like, but you're just not going. Like they made it very clear, like there wasn't any like oh, well, she's in trouble. Like they didn't even try to make an excuse, so that they, to be like, oh, well, she can't go because she did this. They literally would just straight out the bat, just very mean. And so I remember, and I loved to bowl, you guys, because we used to go all the time before this. They would take me all the time. And then after this incident, all of a sudden it was like, you can't go just because we don't like you no more. Like, that's pretty much what it was. And they told me, like, they pretty much told me, you know, we're not cool anymore. And I remember the aunt saying that we're not friends anymore. And she would say all the time, we're not friends anymore. And I loved her, you guys. Like I loved her. Like, she was so cool. So I remember that happening. But I remember we all pulled up to the gas station, and she like would give all the kids money, and then we'd all go in and get snacks. And she would like leave me in the car, and me and her just sit in the car, and I'm like, you know, am I gonna get any money for snacks too, or whatever? She's like, no, we're not doing that. She's like, you're not getting on. And I remember this so vividly because it's like, one, you know, it's a big deal, but also I remember seeing her eyes in the mirror, you know, just like into her eyes, and just looking at it, and I just was just like kind of crouched down, and I was behind her, kind of crouched down in my seat, or was like trying to hide the fact that I was upset, because at this point I was like literally trying not to like let it bother me. Like, I felt myself being very numb, and I remember just trying to protect myself. So I always pretend like I didn't care, and it didn't bother me, and I wanted to just like kind of go into my shell. Like, I was very outgoing, but I was also like, you're not gonna get close to me, and it was the only way I could think of to protect myself and how I was feeling. So it was like progressively getting worse. I remember like we had Christmas time, and if you guys know, with the foster system, they give us gifts, like not necessarily the foster family, but like the agency, I guess you would call it. The agency brings over presents, so we got all these presents. It was super, super cool. And I got all this cool stuff, and I remember getting this like Barbie house, and it had like her own shower, and it had like bubbles and stuff like that, and I remember being super ecstatic about it, and we got all this cool stuff. Well, when I left that home, like, they wouldn't let me take any of my presents. Like, they were like, no, those are staying in the attic. And I remember being so disappointed, because I really liked that dollhouse, you guys. Like, the dollhouse was so cool. I was so into it. But they wouldn't let me take my own presents home. But one good thing I remember being there is, like, the foster dad. He was the most gentle soul I have ever met in my life. Like, he was like the sweetest man. He'd always call me Squirt, and I remember this because it's like, it made me so happy, because he was like I felt like everybody around me was like bullying me and was mean and was hurtful, and he just like wanted to see me smile, you know, like that's how he was. And he would like get me little things. He'd bring me like little snacks and little like candy sometimes, and he bought me this like little cell phone that you had like connect to the main line, but it was like a little cell phone, and I remember feeling so special. And I guess they didn't like that I felt that way, and they took that from me as well. I guess, you know, they didn't want to see me be great. But all joking aside, it was rough. I remember just everything just felt like everything was just crashing, you know, and I was just feeling so defeated, but I was just like, be strong, you know, be strong, ain't nobody gonna hurt you no more. And that's just kind of the mentality that I went through this. Just like other things, I remember I used to get like, a lot of times I would be in detention a lot, because like I talked a lot, but like nobody really talked to me, you know, growing up. Like, it was just, I was more like to be seen and not heard. Apparently I was probably pretty annoying. But like I just get attention all the time, and like she would, like, my foster mom would make me write sentences. Like, every time I got in detention, I'd have to write like, I will not talk in class. And so for every time I got detention, I had to write 100 sentences. So if it's like the second day is 200, third day 300, fourth day 400, 5 days 500. Should have behaved myself a little bit better. So I can't really like falter too much for that. But yeah, so that was some things that were happening. Last thing I remember, Nicole was getting adopted, and so me and her were in the same home together. So she was leaving me, and I remember when we were dropping her off, they're like meeting her new parents and her adopted parents, and they're going to that home, and now I was by myself with these guys. And me and Nicole fought a lot. Like, we did not get along at all in these homes, which is pretty typical, I'm sure. We did not get along at all. But like, when she left, I remember my stomach just dropped. I remember feeling scared, And I don't know why I thought this, because I'm sure my life was never like in danger or anything, but I felt like I'm not gonna survive this. I'm gonna die here. And I distinctly remember that feeling, like I'm going to die here. Because it just felt like everything was like crashing down, and like I had to find a way to survive, and with all my heart and my feelings intact. Like it just was a lot to handle. But I know this is like really a lot, and like I said, I don't want people to necessarily feel sorry for me, because I'm okay. Like it still hurts my little 9-year-old heart to remember like what they put me through, and so it does hurt sometimes, but like I know that like I have a great family and I have great support, and I know that I'm loved and I'm wanted by my husband, by my family, my in-laws. Like I have no trouble with people liking me and loving me today in my life now. Even though my concept of love and all those things and how people viewed me was in a negative light and was in the past, I guess. But I'm not holding grudges. I don't, you know, like it's cool, like whatever. We're not friends, but you know, I'm okay. I have a great life. You know, I love my life. I love my family, and the fact that I'm able to say that I love people is like a very, very big deal, due to all like the hurt that I had went through and the rejection that I went through. But that's my story of my second home. Like I said, if you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.